The moment I stepped outside, the air hit differently, colder, sharper, like I had just walked out of a pressure chamber I didn't realize I was suffocating in. My daughter's small arms stayed locked around my neck. She didn't ask questions. She didn't cry. She just held on tighter, as if her body understood what her mind couldn't fully process yet. Behind me, the house stayed quiet for exactly 2 seconds. Then the chaos began. Not shouting at first. Movement. Footsteps. A chair scraping hard against the floor. My mother's voice cutting through the doorway, no longer calm, no longer controlled. Stop her. That single command changed everything. Not because it had power, but because it revealed desperation. I kept walking down the path, my heartbeat loud in my ears. The phone was still in my hand, still connected to that calm voice on speaker. I'm outside now, I said quickly. Stay where you are, the voice replied. Do not return inside. My sister appeared at the doorway first. She wasn't smiling anymore. Her face had lost all its earlier polish, replaced by something sharp and panicked. You're seriously doing this? She called out. You're involving outsiders over a family discussion. A family discussion. That phrase again. Like what they had planned inside that house was normal. Like taking a child from her mother was just a disagreement over dinner plans. I didn't respond. I kept walking. That's when my mother stepped out behind her. And seeing her outside the house changed something in me. Because inside, she had been authority. Outside, she looked exposed. Not weaker, but no longer protected by walls she had always controlled. Her voice followed me down the path. You are making a huge mistake, she said. You are destroying this family over pride. Pride. Not my daughter. Not my right to raise her. Not consent. Pride. My grip tightened slightly around my child. No, I said finally, turning just enough for my voice to carry back. You already did that when you decided I didn't matter. That stopped her for half a second. Half a second was enough. Because I saw it then, the flicker of uncertainty she hated more than anything. My sister rushed forward a step. Mom, just call someone. Don't let her leave like this. But even she sounded different now. Less confident. More reactive. Like someone trying to hold together something that was already cracking. My phone buzzed. Still connected. The voice came through again, steady as ever. Are you in a safe location now? Yes, I said quickly. I'm outside the house. Good. Do not re-enter under any circumstance. I looked up the street. A few neighbors had started to appear at their gates, sensing tension. Curtains shifted. Doors cracked open slightly. The kind of quiet attention that happens when a normal evening becomes something else entirely. My mother noticed too. That was important, because she had always relied on privacy. Control thrives in closed rooms, not open streets. She lowered her voice slightly, trying a different angle now. Come back inside, she said, softer. We can fix this properly. No need to involve anyone else. Fix this. As if my daughter was broken furniture. As if I was a malfunctioning piece in her arrangement. I shook my head once. No. My sister stepped closer to the gate now, her voice sharper again. You think this is going to go your way. You think calling someone on the phone makes you right. There it was again, belief in dominance. But it was slipping. Because authority that needs shouting is already losing ground. The voice on the phone responded, as if reading the tension perfectly. I am advising everyone present to maintain distance. Any escalation will be documented. Documented. That word landed heavier than any threat. My mother turned slightly toward the gate, lowering her voice further, but now I could hear frustration leaking through. You don't understand what she's doing, she said, not to me anymore, but to the phone. She is unstable. She cannot raise that child properly. I almost laughed, because that was the exact narrative they had built. But narratives don't hold up under scrutiny unless everyone agrees to them. And now, someone outside their circle wasn't agreeing. Has there been any legal ruling regarding custody? The voice asked calmly. Silence. A pause. Too long. That pause was an answer. My sister's face tightened. Mom. My mother didn't answer the question directly. Instead, she said, we are her family. We are protecting the child. Protecting. Another word they had borrowed and twisted. The voice didn't rise. It didn't argue. It simply stated, without legal authorization, removing a child from her current guardian would be considered unlawful. The word unlawful made the air shift again. Not emotionally this time, practically. Because now the situation had moved from personal conflict into consequences. And consequences are where control systems collapse. My daughter shifted slightly in my arms. Mama, I don't like Grandma's house. That sentence landed harder than anything else. My mother heard it. Everyone did. And for the first time, her expression changed in a way I had never seen before. Not anger, not authority, but something closer to shock. Because children don't perform. Children don't strategize. They reveal. My sister immediately snapped. She's putting words in her mouth. But it sounded hollow now. Even she knew it sounded hollow. I adjusted my hold on my daughter gently. You're okay, I whispered. Then I looked back at the house. At the woman who raised me. At the sister who had learned to echo her. At the system they had built together, assuming I would always play the role assigned to me. You don't get to take her, I said clearly. My mother's jaw tightened. For a second, I thought she might step forward again. But she didn't. Because she was realizing something important too. The moment power is challenged publicly, it either escalates or collapses. And escalation was no longer safe. My phone buzzed again. The voice came through, quieter now but firm. I recommend you continue moving away from the property. If necessary, we can dispatch assistance to ensure your safety. Assistance. That word shifted everything again. Because now it wasn't just one call. It was a system. My mother heard it too. Her face tightened further. My sister finally went silent. For the first time since this began, no one had a ready script. Only reactions. I turned away from the house completely. And started walking down the street. Each step felt heavier than the last, but not because I was losing something. Because I was realizing how close I had come to losing everything. Behind me, I heard my mother's voice one final time. Not commanding, not controlling, but fractured. This isn't over. I didn't turn back. Because I finally understood something she hadn't yet accepted. It was over the moment she thought I would stay silent. The streetlights flickered on one by one as I kept walking, each step pulling me further away from that house, and from the version of my life where other people got to decide what my daughter deserved. My daughter had gone quiet in my arms. Not asleep, just still. The kind of stillness that comes when a child is overwhelmed but doesn't yet have the language to name it. I kept one hand on her back, feeling her small breath steady against me, trying to anchor both of us to the present. Behind me, the phone was still connected. The same calm voice stayed on the line. Are you continuing to a safe location? He asked. Yes, I said. My voice felt steadier now, but not fully calm. I'm not going back. Good. Stay in a public area if possible. I glanced around. A small convenience store was open across the road. Bright lights. People inside. Normal life continuing like nothing had happened. Normal felt strange after what just unfolded. I crossed the street and stepped inside. The air conditioning hit instantly. Cool, artificial calm. The cashier looked up briefly, then back down. No questions. Just another customer. I stopped near the back wall, lowering myself onto a small bench by the drinks fridge. My daughter shifted slightly. Mama, can we go home now? That word, home, hit me harder than anything my mother had said. Because it made me realize something important. Home was no longer that house. It hadn't been for a long time. I kissed the top of her head. We are safe now, I said softly. That's what matters first. But even as I said it, my mind was still replaying everything. The plan, the confidence, the way they had spoken about my child like she was transferable. Like love was irrelevant compared to control. My phone vibrated again. This time, a different tone. A new number. I hesitated before answering. Hello. A new voice came through, slightly different from the first. More formal. This is Officer Tan. We've been informed of a potential custody dispute escalation. Are you and the child currently safe? My breath caught slightly. So it had moved that far already. Not just advice anymore. Now it was recorded. Acknowledged. Real. Yes, I said. We are safe in a public place. Understood, the officer replied. Can you confirm if there was any attempt to physically prevent you from leaving a residence? I paused. My mind flashed back to the doorway. My mother's voice. My sister stepping forward. The tension rising. Yes, I said quietly. They tried to stop me from leaving with my daughter. There was a short pause on the other end. Thank you for confirming, he said. We will note this. Are you willing to provide a full statement later? Yes, I said again, without hesitation. My eyes drifted down to my daughter, who was now tracing small circles on my sleeve with her finger. I realized something in that moment. This wasn't just a family argument anymore. It had crossed into something formal, documented, structured, and that meant my mother's version of the story would no longer be the only one that mattered. The officer continued, "For your safety, do not return to the property tonight. If anyone attempts further contact that feels coercive or threatening, inform us immediately." "Okay," I said. Then the call ended. The silence that followed felt heavier than the noise before it. Because now it was real in a different way. Not emotional. Procedural. I sat there for a moment, just watching the glass door of the store open and close as customers came and went. Normal people. Normal lives. Meanwhile, my entire world had just shifted in one night. My daughter leaned against me again. "Mama, are we in trouble?" That question almost broke me. Because she thought this was her fault. Children always assume that when adults start acting like this. "No," I said quickly, pulling her closer. "We are not in trouble. You didn't do anything wrong." She nodded slowly, but I could tell she didn't fully believe it yet. I looked down at my phone again. No calls from my mother. No messages. That silence was not peace. It was calculation. My sister would be talking. My mother would be regrouping. People like that don't lose control quietly. They reframe it. My phone buzzed again. A message this time. From an unknown number. Just one line. "Come back. You are making this worse." No name. No explanation. But I didn't need one. I stared at it for a moment, then turned the screen off. Because that was their last remaining strategy. Not force. Not negotiation. Pressure. I exhaled slowly. And then I made my own decision. I stood up. My daughter looked up at me. "Are we going again?" "Yes," I said softly. But not there. We walked out of the store together. The night air felt different now. Not just cold, but open. Like space had returned where suffocation used to be. I started walking toward the main road where taxis passed frequently. The phone was still in my hand. Still connected to everything that had just happened. I spoke quietly into it. "I want to make a formal report," I said. "And I want to ensure my daughter's safety is legally protected going forward." There was a short pause. Then the voice replied, "Understood. We will guide you through the next steps." And just like that, the situation that my mother believed she controlled had fully left her hands. Back at the house, I knew she would still be trying to rewrite the story. Still insisting it was family misunderstanding. Still believing authority inside those walls meant authority everywhere. But outside those walls, something else had taken over. Process. Documentation. Witnesses. Systems she couldn't intimidate. I tightened my hold on my daughter as a taxi slowed near the curb. "Where to?" the driver asked. I paused for a moment. Then I gave the only answer that mattered now. "Somewhere safe." And as the car pulled away into the night, I finally allowed myself to understand the full weight of what had just happened. My mother hadn't just tried to take my daughter. She had tried to rewrite my reality. And failed. Because one phone call didn't just interrupt her plan.